Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a metric that every single online advertiser obsesses over: click-through rate, or, as you'll always hear it, CTR. Honestly, it's one of the simplest ways to know if your ads are even connecting with people. If you get this right, you save a ton of money. Get it wrong, you're pretty much just setting cash on fire.
All right, so here's the game plan. We're going to start with the absolute basics: what CTR actually is and how you figure it out. Then we'll get into the juicy stuff, like why it's so important and what a good CTR even looks like. And we'll wrap it all up with some real-world tips to improve your numbers, and we'll even take a quick look at how this all applies to email marketing. So, let's dive in.
So, first things first, let's nail down what we're even talking about here. What is click-through rate? It might sound like some complicated marketing jargon, but trust me, the idea behind it is incredibly straightforward. To put it as simply as possible, CTR tells you what percentage of people who saw your ad actually bothered to click on it. Think of it like a direct grade on how appealing your ad is. A high CTR, that means your message, your visuals, your targeting, it's all working. A low CTR, on the other hand, is a big old red flag that something, somewhere, is broken.
And the math behind this isn't scary at all. It's super simple. You just take the total number of clicks your ad got, divide that by the number of times your ad was shown, those are called impressions, and then you multiply the result by 100 to get a nice clean percentage. That's it.
Okay, so that's the theory, but what does this actually look like out in the wild? Let's walk through a quick, practical example right now to make this formula really stick.
Let's imagine you're running a campaign, maybe for a new online store. Your ad gets shown to people 20,000 times. Now, out of all those views, 400 people thought, hey, that looks interesting, and they clicked. All we have to do is take those two numbers, 400 clicks and 20,000 impressions, and pop them right into that formula we just talked about. And boom, you run the numbers, and what do you get? A click-through rate of 2%. So what does that actually mean? It means that for every 100 people who laid eyes on your ad, 2 of them decided to click. See? It's that simple. And now you have a hard number, a real metric you can use to start measuring how well you're doing.
Okay, so you've calculated your 2% CTR. Big deal, right? Well, yeah, it's actually a huge deal. So why should you care so much about this one little number? Let's break down the massive ripple effect it has on everything else. See, a high CTR is basically you telling a platform like Google, hey, people actually like this ad, it's relevant. This feedback feeds directly into something called a quality score. Just think of it like a report card for your ad. And the better your grade, the more often your ad gets shown and in better spots, all without you necessarily having to pay more for it.
And just how much does CTR affect that quality score? Well, it's not a small piece of the puzzle. It's a huge one. In fact, some analyses show that your CTR can be responsible for up to 72% of your quality score. That means improving your CTR is probably the single most powerful thing you can do to boost your overall ad performance. And believe me, getting one of those top ad positions, it matters a lot. The #1 spot in a Google search pulls in over a quarter of all the clicks for that search. That's an enormous advantage. It's why a high CTR is so vital. It helps you climb that ladder and grab the biggest slice of the pie. So you have to see it as this awesome domino effect. A higher CTR leads to a better quality score. That, in turn, can lower your advertising costs. And cheaper, better placed ads bring more of the right kind of traffic to your website, which of course leads to more sales. It's this powerful, positive feedback loop that all starts with paying attention to your CTR.
All right, now we get to the million-dollar question every single advertiser asks themselves. Is my CTR any good? To answer that, you can't just pull a number out of thin air. You've got to look at the benchmarks and see how you stack up.
The first thing you have to understand is that a good CTR is totally relative. It really depends on your industry. If you're running Google search ads for health and medical, for example, the average CTR is up around 3.27%. But if you're in the tech space, the average is closer to 2.09%. So context is absolutely everything.
And it's not just about your industry. It also changes dramatically depending on where you're advertising. It makes sense, right? On Google search, people are actively looking for something, so the intent is high and the average CTR is about 3.8%. But compare that to LinkedIn, where people are in a totally different mindset and the average CTR is less than 1%. You've got to compare apples to apples.
Okay, so maybe you're looking at your numbers and they're not quite hitting those benchmarks. First of all, don't panic.
The best part about CTR is that you're not stuck with it. Let's talk about some real actionable things you can do to get those numbers up. Honestly, one of the biggest levers you can pull is your headline. Just look at the difference here. The before is, well, it's fine. It's factual. Buy dog toys online. But the after? How to keep your dog happy. That connects on an emotional level. It's not selling a product, it's selling an outcome, a benefit. And that simple shift is huge. And it doesn't stop at the headline. You need to get laser focused with your keywords. So instead of just dog toys, try dog toys for chewers. Use images that actually make people feel something. And maybe most important of all, tell people exactly what you want them to do next with a clear, strong call to action. And always be testing these things to see what your audience responds to. So, we've been talking a lot about ads, but CTR is also a massive deal in a completely different world, email marketing. And if you're sending out emails, you need to understand it here too.
The core concept is exactly the same. What percentage of people clicked? But there's a small, really important difference in the formula. With email, you measure your clicks against the number of emails that were successfully delivered, not just opened. This gives you a much more accurate picture of how engaging your actual email content was.
And yep, just like with ads, there are benchmarks here too. So what are you aiming for? Generally, a good, healthy CTR for an email campaign is somewhere in that 2 to 5% range. But of course, that can swing a lot depending on your industry and the kind of email you're sending.
And finally, this is a super important point to wrap things up. Please do not confuse CTR with conversion rate. Think of it like this. CTR is getting someone interested enough to knock on the door of your store. Conversion rate is whether they actually step inside and buy something. You absolutely need the knock on the door, but the sale is the ultimate prize. And that really brings us to the final big picture question you have to ask yourself. Getting a ton of clicks feels great. It really does. It's the first step. But are you getting the right clicks? A super high CTR that leads to 0 sales means you're attracting the wrong crowd with the wrong message. So remember, the ultimate goal isn't just more clicks, it's more profitable action. And that's something to keep in mind for your very next campaign.